Yes, I acknowledge through the instructions of Nelson Chamisa, one Rai wrote to the president, who then was finishing the term of his predecessor. He had not yet been tested electorally. In fact, that letter's whole import was to prepare ground for a conversation that would lead to a deferment of elections. Now, we didn't find that appealing at all. We didn't find that really cohering with our own calculations, because ultimately, political power must come from the say-so of the voter. Which means, whatever the circumstances, whatever our history, we needed to be tested democratically by way of the ballot. After all, one of the key flashpoints by way of engagement and re-engagement conundrum, arose from the questionable democratic credentials of Zimbabwe. So we would never have put dialogue ahead of elections. Essentially, this was a well-meant letter written out of time to preempt a process that was inevitable, namely that of going to the polls. And as you and me will recall, July came, we went to the polls, we got a result, right? So essentially, a conversation cannot start on the basis of a communication that was done prematurely. It actually starts after the democratic standard had been fulfilled, in which case conversation then starts. What was the result? Well, President Mnangagwa, ZANU-PF, not just one, but one enough to command a 2/3 majority in parliament, right? Here is a war president who is undisputed in numerical terms, undisputed in terms of standards by the world democratic credentials, who has won an election, but who still comes round to say, hey, in spite of my victory, in spite of my superlative performance, I'm inviting you all, my contestants, to share in my victory for the sake of our country, but not to go back to the political question, which is already resolved by the voter, but to now pool the ideas that we may have as individuals, right, in order to move this country forward. And it is critical for each and every one of us to know that the national dialogue is not out to resolve a political question, because none exists. It is there to harness the national intellect towards resolving the economic challenges, the social challenges that we face as a people. But of course, it is also out to sharpen the democratic infrastructure by way of the institutions ahead of 2023. It is not retrospective. It is, in fact, prospective.
Dr. Dollar Entertainment.